Where is Rebecca? Rebecca is coming up next, right? Rebecca, come on up. Rebecca is a Toastmaster and an award-winning speaker. I told her I was going to introduce her that way, so give her a hand.
Hi, again, my name is Rebecca Plevin. I'm a reporter I'm the community health reporter for Vida del Valle newspaper, which is the V's bilingual newspaper here in the San Joaquin Valley. And I'm really excited to be here tonight to talk about community health. So first, a definition. When I talk about community health, I'm talking about all the things in your environment that impact your health. So here in the Valley, we all breathe this really horrible air every day, right? But if you are a farm worker, or if you work in a packing house, or if you work in a dairy, you probably live in a community that also has contaminated water. You probably have less access to fresh fruits and vegetables. But this isn't going to be a downer presentation because there is change happening here. There are good things happening. Even youth are getting involved. Okay, he's a little young, but he was in Madera when these farm worker women were celebrating the fact that they had established pesticide buffer zones around labor camps, etc. So a little bit more about me first. So I grew up in I was born in Washington, D.C., grew up in Maryland, studied journalism at Northwestern University, moved here 2 years ago. I'm also a certified yoga teacher. I'm a rock climber. I once interned for Sports Illustrated magazine, but I realized I had zero interest in sports. Okay. Okay, so when you, for this presentation, I want to take you to some communities in the Valley that you've probably passed through, but don't know a lot about. So when you enter Modesto, there's this arch that says Water, Wealth, Contentment, Health. But in the community of Park Lawn, just minutes outside of Modesto, there's a lower income community where they have no sewers and horrible septic tank problems. So there's too much water in the streets and in people's lawns. And this is creating a public health problem. So when I started researching this story, I had to learn a lot about septic tanks, which wasn't really that fun. But basically what's going on in this community was that people's septic tanks were overflowing, the grass was getting saturated with water, people's homes were cracking. This family, they were worried that the grass, this wet grass, was attracting mosquitoes and rats, and that it would impact her children's health. And so it's really it's a community concern. Yeah. Okay, so if we continued from Modesto, we went down 99, we could end up in Pixley. And Pixley is a small community in Tulare County. It's a lot like a lot of the communities here in the Valley. It can be considered a food desert or a food swamp because there's a lot of places to get hamburgers and tacos, very few places to get fresh fruits and vegetables. But I worked on a story where I spent a week with one family, and there are good things going on in Pixley. There's a community garden where families can go and grow the types of vegetables they want together. There's a folkloric dance group where this group, Los Girasoles, are learning how to do folkloric dancing. So there is positive change happening in this community. Okay, so if you went from here, you took 41 south for exactly an hour, I've done it a lot of times, you'll end up in Kettleman City. And I'm sure you all have heard about Kettleman City at this point. There was a cluster of birth defects there recently, but Kettleman City has actually been fighting for environmental justice for 3 generations now. And so just last week I was in Kettleman for a candlelight vigil to remember the babies who had died in Kettleman City. There are 3 babies who died of birth defects recently. These 2 women, both of their babies were born with birth defects and died. And so they were at this candlelight vigil and they were getting ready to let these doves go in remembrance of their babies. And the little boy there, he was one of the babies who was born with birth defects. He did survive. He's 2 years old now. His name is Ivan Rodriguez. And since he was born, he's had 2 surgeries. He now just has a little scar, otherwise he's perfect. And at this vigil, he was, they passed out these candles, and he was blowing it out over and over as if it was a birthday cake, so it was really sweet. This is Susana de Anda. She is the co-executive director of the Community Water Center in Visalia. And so in Visalia, if we drove deep into Tulare County, we'd arrive at these communities like Cutler, Arosi, Seville, where people don't have the human right to clean drinking water. I took this photo in Seville at an elementary school, Stone Coral Elementary School, where the water fountains don't work. They turn them off because the water in Seville is contaminated with nitrates, bacteria, sand. And so in this very poor community, they have to pay money out of the school's general fund to bring in gallons of water. But again, there are positive things going on there. This woman, Becky Quintana, is a longtime resident of Seville. Just recently, she won the EPA's Environmental Justice Champion Award for her efforts to bring clean water to her community. And so there are people who are working to bring change. Okay, so those were just the environmental problems. Here in the Valley, we have a legacy of hunger, we have a legacy of poverty. I met this young boy at a summer lunch program in Orange Cove this summer. And, you know, he's drinking chocolate milk, apple juice, eating carrots, cheese, and that's probably going to be the most nutritious meal of his day. And on top of all that, we have a bad economy. So this woman, Maria Sanchez, picked up 12 20-pound boxes of food at the Community Food Bank's biggest food distribution ever, and she was pushing the cart home. And I interviewed her, and she said to me, you know, she wrote down her phone number for me, and she said, I really need a job. But again, good things are happening. Well, sort of. So there's the school breakfast programs and summer lunch programs here in the Valley are dramatically underutilized, even though there's a really high need for food. Free and reduced lunch rates are very high here, but there are efforts to improve those. So again, I hope this wasn't a total downer presentation. There are good things happening. Youth are getting involved in learning to take care of their health. I took this photo in series at a walk to school event. Kids walk to school to improve their health and to improve the air quality. High five. So if you want to learn more about community health here in the San Joaquin Valley, you can check out my blog. It's a really long blog name, but it's blogs.vidanelvalle.com/health. Or you can just follow me on Twitter at Harvest Health. And that photo I took in the homeless encampments here in Fresno.